On. I am going to show you some basic tutorial on how to create your own Roll20 game using a role-playing system of your choice. We're going to be using Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. In case you don't know what Roll20 is, it is a virtual tabletop and you can host games on there. It's very popular alongside Fantasy Grounds, which is also a virtual tabletop that is found on Steam. But I prefer this because it is free and it seems like it has a larger community involved. So, as you see, I have a couple campaigns, and one campaign is actually active, and I put my heart and soul into right now. And I am also a new dungeon master. So, this is geared for new dungeon masters as well, people new to Roll20. Do my best to explain. So, as you sign up, it's free, by the way, again. After you sign up and register, blah, 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 create a new campaign. Let's just say you're a new dungeon master and you want to create your new campaign right away. All right, so really easy. You can choose these little modules that they have. I think they kind of suck. So a lot of people just start with their blank campaign, and we're gonna make something up, okay? So I'm gonna call it Lost in the Woods. Lost in the Woods. It's just gonna be funny. 5th edition or D and D. D&D 5th edition 5e. Okay, and then you can put tags. So I'll just write D&D 5e, and you can add other things to it if you want, so other people can find your game. And most importantly, people look for starting times or time zones, and that's very important when organizing a game. And you'll see why pretty soon. So I'm going to write uh, East Coast, Eastern Standard Time. There we go. You can choose a character sheet. And again, if you're new to Roll20, it's just a matter of preference on what kind of character sheet you want to use for your role set. But I prefer to go with the shaped version, Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So it shows you a preview. So I'm ready, so I'm going to create the campaign. Now, it's going to load up into your campaign, but I am going to backwards. And you're actually going to be hitting two birds with one stone with what I'm going to do here. You'll see why in a minute. Might have to refresh the page. Okay, so uh, as you see the campaign. It's in your campaign folder. Lost in the Woods, Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So let's click it. You can choose a file, an image file. So let's go do that, shall we? Let's go to my. Oh no, I got this on my other. I got the assets on my other computer. So we're just gonna leave that blank for now. Okay, so you see the title. You can change that anytime. But most importantly, what are you playing? What is the rule set? So it's Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. And let's just say this game is going to be this Saturday or Sunday or tomorrow. Actually, you know what? I could actually expand on this. Actually, maybe run a game with this. Anyways, let's see. I'm going to say I'm going to be available tomorrow. So I'll say I'll be available tomorrow at 3 o'clock p.m. to run the game. And what Roll20 does is, let's say you put that game in, and it's estimating your time zone. So it knows your time zone. Other players, when they find their game, they're going to find games based around your time zone, and it's going to convert it to their time zone. So say someone's in Canada time, they're going to see this as 5 o'clock p.m. because I think they're 2 hours ahead. All right, so you can make sure you save it, all your information, and let's click on, let's just make a title. You are with a bunch, you're with a handful of strangers deep in the woods along the uh, deep in the woods near the Tribor Trail. You are with a handful of strangers deep in the woods near the Tribor Trail, and you have no idea why you are there, only to realize you have woken up in a wagon that is moving. That doesn't make sense. That is not a good starting pitch. So just make sure you have a good starting pitch for your game. Say, this is a home, this is a campaign. I'll just write a new game looking for players. Okay. And this is East Coast Standard Time based. So you just want to write the time that you want. Meeting for a character creation session, July 1st, 3 p.m. And then you can just write, you know, other prerequisites of kind of people you want in your game. So, looking for new players, preferred, who are interested in learning D and D 5e. 5e. And you can include other things too. Another thing that's important to players is character creation. Since this is not a starting module or a published adventure, just write down character creation is free form based off of 4d6. I think it's also 4 dice rolls. Stat. More info in game. Alright, so that is it for right now. I'm just going to keep it short and simple for this video. And as you see, it shows one player, which is me, which is the Dungeon Master. And top, you're going to have campaign tabs, which is you're going to have your own forum, a discussion forum for the campaign itself. And you can put this in a looking for players listing. So right now it's not in the listing. So create a looking for group listing. It's going to tell you it's not shown right now. It shows you everything that you've put into the details so far. This is going to be a role-playing game, obviously, and this is going to be a weekly game, audio visual. Roll20 does support voice and video chat. WebRTC, I believe that's what it's called. Your language, blah blah. New players are welcome, and mature content. I do that all the time. If parents might be very, very strict on having their kids joining a mature game. Okay, so you can change the description of your game, and you can post a new forum. I'm gonna write character ideas, and time character ideas, and times that you are interested in. Oops. Preferred times. Character ideas, okay. So if you already put in your game that you want to meet around 3 p.m., what kind of rules you want in your game. So in my game, I want a character creation that is based off the 4 dice roll for stat. I think it's 4d6. Drop the lowest. Oh, total players needed. Now, how many players you want in your game? So I'm going to put 4 or 5. That includes the Dungeon Master. Save that. And your listing is in. So now this is where the part where I say you're hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. So now you got your listing up, but you haven't even created the campaign yet. That's all right, because this is what it's going to do. Is it's going to take some time. It takes up to 2 hours for the listing to appear. So go back to your home, and let's go to your campaign. You can post a topic in your campaign. Like say for example, you're on your details page right now. So this is the page where players you invite into your game. This is the forums that they see. This is the place where they can go into the campaign. You get your discussion forum. That's all tied in with the discussion forum. So you post new topic, discussion forum, journal. Players who have support Roll20, they can store their character sheets and transfer them across games if they like. Your vault is where you put all your assets. Oh, okay, fucking up here. All right, that was the wrong page, guys. Sorry. So looking, this is you're looking for group section and your chat archive. So you can go in there and it's just, if you want to quickly see anybody who has said anything in there, you can check that out with inside the campaign. All right. So let's go to launch your campaign, shall we? Thanks for bearing with me so far, guys. This is live, so I'm trying so hard not to make a mistake. This is your interface, and really quickly, I'm just going to show you what you have here. This is your main screen based off pages, and players always start off on the page that is bookmarked, and as you can see, it's bookmarked off as players. Left-hand side, you're going to have your quick toolbar for moving, and other players, I believe they can see a lot of that too. You get your pan, your select, you have your layer screen, your map and background layer, your objects, and your GM info layer. They're all separate. Your players will see the map and background and the object and tokens layer. Next up is your brush. So you can draw a shape, freehand, do a polygon line. You can put text in there. And I believe players can see and use that tool, these tools as well. Your magnification, if you decide to use that. And this is your ruler. So if you're using a grid based and you're playing it with a grid map, let's say you have a token in this area, it just shows you, it's a guide, just a tool, just like say I want to move 60 feet to this position, that will help you move 60 feet there. And it's color coded, so it's like, look at my avatar, Tysus. I am blue. That can be changed anytime as well. I'm blue, so it just shows, the blue guy, Tysus, he's moving that. You could ping the map, so just right click it, hold, oops, that's not working. You gotta use the pointy end. Use the pointy end. So hold down the left mouse button and you're pinging the map. Alright, other things, you can reveal areas, you can do a polygon reveal, hide areas, or reset the fog of war. We'll go into that more later, but again, Roll20 has a fog of war system. It also has a line of sight system, but you have to be a subscriber to use that feature. This is your turn order, so you can have a turn order. And again, that's a GM base. We'll get more into that later. And you got your dice roller. You can choose to use that, or you can use macros if you would like. You got help, documentations, report a bug, so on and so forth. This is your main chat window on the right hand side. And on top of that, you have tabs. So, as a test, you can say hello. There you go, hello. Go on the right hand side, you're going to have little tabs. This one's for the settings. You can create macros, change your in-game display name. You can enable 3D dice, enable chat timestamps. I like to have this option on. It's called use window pop-ups for characters. It is very handy. Just take my word for it. I want to broadcast to others. This is your video and voice section, so you choose not to want to broadcast. Just press disable. If you don't want to receive anything from anybody, just press disable. But I just leave that on. Your video player avatar size. So this is your avatar video size. You see how it's big and it takes a lot of screen space? You can disable that. But I like to have that on, especially when I'm starting off, because you might want to associate a name with a person who's talking. Like say if you're talking, there's going to be a little blip around your avatar, and it's going to show like, hey, this person's speaking. But if you say names only, you can't see who's talking. You can't associate the voice with that unless you ask him, like, who's talking. All right, so let's not get too much into this. All right, little hint and trick that I found out is if you double click the chat tab, it'll pop out. All right. So what do we want to start off with? We want to start off with, very important too. Okay, it looks like a newspaper icon. It's too bad it doesn't highlight, but it looks like a newspaper icon about three over. This is where you're going to add your character sheets, your handouts, and your folders. So let's say you got a couple people who've already started. Actually, you can just make, I'm going to duplicate for, see what I did? This is just a standard. It's going to make a name for your NPC or player. But you open that up and just press duplicate, and you're expecting 4 players, so that's all done. I'm just going to press save changes. See how this window pops up? I love that. So if you want to minimize Roll20 back to your desktop, you can have this staring at you with the chat out too, if you wanted to. So this is the main character sheet, bio and info. So you want to click edit, and I'm just going to make up something. I'm going to call him Fartknocker, and saying players journals. So let's just pretend Tysus is another player, even though it's me. So players journals, Tysus. You always want to assign these to the players journals, or else your players are never ever going to be able to create their own handout. Can be edited and controlled by. I like to not click Tysus, or click the GM, because what's going to happen is, say if the GM is browsing a character sheet, the player is going to see everything what you're doing on there from flipping the pages. So it might be frustrating when a player is editing his character sheet, and all of a sudden it's going to go to another tab within the character sheet because the GM has gone to another page within that character sheet. That's frustrating. So don't click that. Just leave it blank. You can still edit his sheet. I don't know why they do that. Like add a little bio and info. So say Fartknocker is the king of farts. Farts, okay? So if you got an avatar, you find a picture on the internet, or you can draw your own or whatever, save it to your desktop, save it in your computer, and then you choose file, so on and so forth. And then after you see that picture in your bio, you can drag it onto the screen. After you see it on the screen, click it and click this where it says use selected token. It's going to associate your character sheet with the token. So in this instance, I am going to take an asset that's in my library, and you can upload stuff. I'll show you more about that later. So let's use this one I have pre-generated. Just drag out. You can resize it to fit the square of your grid. Go back to edit. So my character is selected, use that selected token. Voila. Okay. So let's go to character sheet. Oops, save changes. Right. So you got to make sure this is a player sheet. So if you click this, I don't know if you can see. Player. Press NPC. That's going to be an NPC sheet. We don't want that. We want that to be a player sheet. And this is where a player is going to edit their own sheet. You can assist them if you like. Here's another thing too. When I first started with Roll20, I had no idea where to put my stats. So see this little bubble on the fifth edition sheet shaped? This is where you put the stat number after you roll. So say you got a 18. I don't know if you can see it. Press 18. It's going to give you your modifier. So more on that at a later time. So that's just the character sheets. Um, Ooh, that's new. Okay. Anyway, more on this at a later time, folks. So you want to get a map up and running. Very important. So let's go to your map and background layer, and we are going to choose the map. So let's say you can upload things beforehand. You go to your marketplace by clicking on the star. You can go to the marketplace, or you can check your library, and it defaults on your library. You can search for assets too. Let's say, for instance, okay, let's search for an asset. So let's write trail. We're gonna go to the marketplace. Okay, maybe not. We're gonna look for everything in the search, and let's look for trail. So it's gonna look through Roll20 store on the sidebar. And you can find trails. Maybe somebody made their own. Let's look for pictures of trails. Let's look for trail map. Okay, it's getting me like trails. All right. Oh, here's one. Okay, fuck that. I'm gonna go to mine, and we're gonna go to choose Cragmaw Hideout. Okay, that's part of a campaign. And what you're gonna do is have to resize it, which is a pain in the ass. I don't know why it doesn't default. So you're gonna have to make it big as you want according to the grid size in units. Don't worry about aligning the grid just yet. Just make it big as you want according to the screen. That's pretty good. Then it's window. All right. So let's zoom in. And as you can tell, is the image map has grids on them, and Roll20 has their own grid. So you want to match the map image grid with Roll20's grid. So how do you do that? Very easily. Sometimes not. So make sure you have the select icon and right click on the map. Click on advanced and align to grid. You want to place your cursor preferably really close to the edges, the inside edges of the squares. So let's find a good area for that. That'll work. All right, so I'm going to get it into the inside edges edges as best as I can. It's really tricky with a touchpad, but with a mouse it's all right. Try to get the inside square best as you can. Okay, so it looks like your grid cells are 48 by 47. I'm going to say it's a 48 by 48. And I'm going to align to the grid. Now, as you can see, it's not perfect. There are some, let's say if you try to align your grids, certain areas are not going to line up because I did not align it good enough. So let's go over here. Again, just do it again. I'm going to align the grid, and on the upper corner, no, that's not going to work. Try again. I will get it, folks, I promise. Align the grid. I think we have it. So, as you might notice, if you let go of the mouse button, the image is going to shift sometimes. It's perfectly normal. So let's just zoom out, just make sure everything is up to snuff. As you can see, Roll20 has cut off the page because we don't have enough screen real estate. So it was really easy. You just go to your page settings and you want to adjust the units. So let's say this is a 30 by 30. This is all in pixels, or 1 unit equals 70 pixels. So now we made it bigger. Close call too. All right. So let's zoom in. Okay, so we're gonna have to adjust. Now to prevent your image from shifting all around, just hold Alt, and the picture will stay in place wherever you want it. Any picture. Now, as you notice that you see grids. If you're picky, if you don't want grids in this area, let's say you just want to use the grids that are within the picture itself for a nice clean look. Really easy. Go back to your page settings, and turn the opacity up. Oh, down. Turn it down. Grid opacity. You still want the grid enabled, but you're hiding it in view. And voila. So Roll20 will recognize there's a grid still there, but it won't show you it. See, nice clean finish. Oops, I think I moved it around. Let's put a token. Alright, I have a little bit of a hiccup here. This is weird. Oh, okay, I dragged him out, but he didn't go where I wanted him to go. Alright, so as you can see, there is your token for the players, or a player. They can move it with their mouse button or mouse. I mean, with their keyboard or mouse. Okay. It's aligned to the grid. 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet. So that's the basics right there on your map. Let's say you don't want to show people the whole map when they first start entering it. So you want to do, I always do reset fog of war. Really easy from this quick bar. Oops. Hide areas. Turn on fog of war. Now it's going to look kind of dim, but in all reality, there's a fog of war. And just give it a better view. What I'm talking about. Go back to your page settings, and under the fog of war, there's an opacity. Opacity. I turned that up, I believe. That was black. Turn up some more. Pretty much pitch black for my view, anyway. So I can kind of see what the players are looking at. So let's reveal areas. You can use a polygon reveal, which is you get fine cuts by polygon. Don't be alarmed if your yellows are overlapping areas that you don't want to show. Just keep on tracing the edges of certain places that you want to etch out. Bear with me, folks. Let's bring it all the way this way. Why not? We'll let them see that. Alright. And then you press escape. And voila. That is what the players see. The game. Now, let's say you want to reveal areas to your players. Really easy. Same thing. You just go. Oops. I keep on pressing that damn thing. This little button here looks like a C, I guess. So you can do reveal areas. Do square reveal. See? Say I want to highlight this area. I want to reveal this area. Voila. Or you can use a polygon. Let's say you want to hide it for some reason. So just go hide areas. It's the same thing, it's just in reverse. So if you're going to see little artifacts on the screen, which I don't like. I wish Rogue20 kind of fixed that. Alright, so for all intents and purposes, let's just reveal that again. So you have your character sheet, and players can mess around with that. That's a different subject. You got your map. Now let's create what I like to make is a token page. So let's always make this your first page, and let's title it token. I'm token, man. Oops, actually, this is a page where you don't want your characters to be in, but you go through your adventure or get the idea of the enemies your players are facing. So this is what I do. I go type in zombie again. And they have free tokens. So let's put that one here. Let's get, maybe in your campaign you have a super zombie. Okay, this is being very finicky. Let's go to tokens. I want to look for tokens specifically. There we go. That's a lot better. So I want that one. Let's say you got some goblins. So you got some goblins in your game. Oh, that's funny. Monkey goblin people. With shields. That's new, actually, because I looked for goblin and they used to be all green. Oh, there we go. Goblin. That's 11 o'clock already. Alright. So, let's just say my adventure just has all these guys. Okay. Of course, you're going to have probably a lot if you're running a standard adventure, but it's always good to go through your publish adventure, and it's kind of time consuming. Write them all down and then just search for them out. Trust me, it is a lot more less time consuming. Now, this is a little hint and trick that I like to do. Don't worry about 5 goblins, 10 goblins that you have. This is your static token page collection. So, and let's say one of your maps features these guys. Yeah, line them all up. Line them all up in one column. Let's say your next map is gonna have this bloody guy, I guess. This guy here, that guy there. Okay, just line them all up. You'll see why in a minute. Okay. Another hint and trick is up here on each of these tokens. This is what I do. So the red bar is the hit point. So I write, the hit point stat, 20 hit points. Press enter. Right down there, armor class, 13. Okay. So on and so forth. Oops. Right click. I'm not going to do it for every one of them. This is an example. Okay. Now, if you click on the tokens, you're going to have little icons. That's good for like status effects or if you want to mark off somebody. But what I like to do is I play on a big screen TV, and sometimes it's kind of hard to actually see where my tokens are. Or if you have a monitor and it's really hard to see where your characters are in relation to your map, you can put a color code on some of them. It might be a visual aid just to tell you, hey, there's a guy there, you know, based off the color. So you can just uncheck that if you want, or if you want to mark him as dead. Oh, he's dead. Okay. Oops. Right click again, you're going to see a settings tab. This says represents a character. Um, that doesn't matter really, but this is good. I'll just write goblin. So the name of this guy is a goblin. It's controlled by me, the GM. Okay, you can give it a tint. Let's explore that a little bit. Oh, okay, cool. So it has a little bit of a tint. That's good for status effects too. All right. Here you can add things, I guess. You can get an aura around your token. That's good for like movement and positioning. If you want to discuss with your players, hey, if you leave this part of the square, you're in his range. He's going to attack you within that range. And if you move outside of the square, you're provoking a disengage or a reaction. So that's just good for a visual tool for explaining things. Turn that off. Now, this is my favorite part, and I wish I did this long ago when I first started off, but this is where I put my stat blocks. All right. And this guy is going to be my template for all of my stats. This is where I'm going to basically put the monster manual into Roll20. And it might take a little bit, but I write down strength. Let's just pretend it's -1, comma, dex +3, comma, constitution, space, +0, comma, intellect. I always put the plus signs or negative. Oops. -4. I'm taking this off from another enemy. Doesn't really matter. And now, wisdom, -1. Charisma, -2. And if you wanted to, you can kind of like highlight strength, bold it, dexterity, bold it, constitution, bold, select, bold, wisdom. If there's a shortcut for this, please let me know. Chat, -2. So you'll see why this is going to be really cool pretty soon. Okay, so that's their. This is what fucktards stats are. Modifiers. I don't put the hit points and I don't put the armor class in these notes because it's already on your main bubbles. So just put down what they have. I would start off with their damage. So let's just say uh, short sword. Okay, short sword. I just put the basics. I put it's a +4 hit and 1d6. I know it's yeah -3. Okay, 1d6 -3. It should be 1 to hit for this guy anyway. So it shows you what it needs for the d20 roll and what you need for your hit mod, for your hit roll. Short, simple, and sweet. And you can add others as you see fit. And then I put down, all of its senses. If you want to put this XP, just put down what it's relative. What do you think is most important for that character? But then again, you get skills. So let's do skills next. Let's do stealth +6. Senses. No, dark vision 60 feet. Okay, so that's kind of like your basics. So I do stat block, weapon, skills and senses, and then at the bottom I put down its actions. And I'll say it's a multi-attack, and you can summarize it for yourself what it does, if you want. So let's save the changes. Oops. So this guy here is ready to go. His name is Goblin, controlled by Tysus. Okay. Now, what I do is when I go down the line, put in their stats, instead of typing everything, I just copy this up, go to the next guy, paste, and where it says like your strength, this is a different enemy. So let's say this is a wolf. Okay, wolf stat block. So +1. Dexterity is +2. Constitution is 0. Let's say that's -1. Wisdom +2. +2 or 1 or whatever. Okay, and then let's say all you gotta do is just bite to hit. 2 dice is 1d6 plus 2. It might not have any skills, so if it doesn't have any skills, theoretically, just delete it. Senses, add or remove the actions, okay? Or anything that's special. Wolf. There you go. And then again, put down his hit points, blah, 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 and go down the line. So let's say all these guys are all set for that map. These are your tokens for the map. Basic tokens representing a different type of creature. If I press copy of the token page, you go to start, where my characters are at, and as you can see, I've imported them. So let's say it's goblins. Well, these goblins do start here in the book, according to the adventure book. So all you gotta do is just copy, paste, paste. Okay, so I got like a whole horde of goblins around here. And I believe I am, yeah, they look kind of weird because I changed their color. Let's see, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4 goblins there. And got an archer type of goblin, so let's put a archer here, archer here, archer there. Your monkey guy here, okay? So he's in here, 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 okay? You know, you get the idea what I'm talking about. But you use that token page as your starting launch pad. Now let's say you put all these guys in here beforehand. Let's say, oh, okay, let's say you started off with a blank slate and say you wanted this dead person here. Dead person here, dead person there, this guy here, this guy there. Now I gotta go to this guy, okay, I'm gonna call him Goblin, and I'm gonna go put in their hit points for each one of them. 10. Same thing for this guy because he's the same. 15, 10. Okay. So on and so forth. And then you go here. You gotta call him Goblin. And then you write down your stats. You gotta copy their stats. And then go to this guy. Paste them. I think that's just a headache, in my opinion. So now you get your characters all in there. Let's say you want to hide a character on your map, or you don't want to reveal them right away. So you can do that too. Really easy. Just select the creatures that you want hidden. So I'll say all these guys are hidden. And I am going to right click and I'm going to put them on the GM layer. What that does is it puts them on a layer where I can see them, but the other players can't. So that's good to. Then if you want them, the only thing is you have to go to the GM layer to bring them back up. So go to GM layer. And I want to select these guys to come back to the token layer. Now the people can see them. So, oh yeah, over here you just might want to delete your template characters if you want to delete them. So let's delete this guy, delete that guy, delete that guy, delete that guy, delete that guy. All right, so that's your basic map. And if you want to create another map, just create a new page. That's all you have to do. Now, macros. That's a tricky one. You might want to check out the support page or the forums for different macros, but I'll show you a basic one. Let's go to add macro. Okay, and you can create your own. If you're a player, you can create your own. You don't have to have GM permissions, but the GM can make uh, macros for you if you wanted to. So let's say I want to make a macro just for myself as the dungeon master. This is a very good one. We'll call it ability roll. So characters will want to find out how to roll for their abilities. So let's do this. It's /R 4d6 d1. D1 means you're telling roll 20 to drop the lowest dice. I think I got that incorrectly. And you can test the macro out. Test. Good, it did work, I think. Oh, okay, it did drop. Did you see it dropped the lowest? Now you can, if you want to drop any ones, um, I think it's one drop, reroll D1, I think. Okay, I have a macro set up somewhere else where it can drop any ones within an ability roll. But 4d6 d1, that's going to drop the lowest one. So it shows you those dice. So 17 is your first one, your second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one for your abilities. Something like that. You can do an emote. So /EM. And remember, your name's always going to come up first. So let's say Tysus eats a banana. Test a macro. Oops. Oh. Ooh. Oh, I thought I knew how that goes. Oh. Something like that. Well, if you ever want help on emotes, most definitely check out the support pages. But anyways, that's the basics of creating your own map. You have your tools, you have a library to choose from your tokens. You can add music, and it's powered by SoundCloud. So let's look for ambience. All right, ambience, dark ambience. This thing's kind of weird. I haven't really had, but you just choose something, you search it, press add, and then now it's in your jukebox. So you can choose to loop it, change the volume. And other players will hear this, so just press play. Okay, I can't hear it on my headset. Huh, should play. Sound effects. Let's look for chatter. Please scan our chatter. Okay, sure. And just press play.
I have a material witness on an aggravated battery with a handgun, and they believe this might be in retaliation to her testimony.
Now, you can preview the stream too.
Live, this is 3-2 Echo.
Let's look for music. So we got all this music people have put up. I'll just choose something. Alright, and then you can actually mix them all together if you wanted to. So this song here, I guess.
That girl is dynamite.
I have a material witness on an aggravated battery
That girl is
with a handgun,
dynamite.
and they believe this might be in retaliation.
Dynamite.
I have a material witness on an aggravated battery with a handgun, and
So that's cool things you can play with. Alright, and what else do we got? Playing cards and rollable tables. I don't really use that too much in my game, but I'll just show you what that's like real quick. Let's call this loot. So it's gonna roll your tables. Kind of like it can be like dice, making your own dice, pretty much. Now let's add an item. Let's call it. Okay, we'll call it a banana. That's your first one. You can choose an icon if you want. Let's add another item. Let's call it fart device. I'm just making shit up. Saving items. Add item. 500 gold pieces. Sex toy. Sex's toy. Okay, sex toy. And let's add a sword. Okay, so now you save the changes and say you want to roll your loot table after you defeat an enemy. Okay, so let's roll it out. So it's always going to show rolling one table loots, your loot table, and that's what you get, a fart device. And it'll say equals 0. 0 is the weight. So let's say if I want to roll it in. I got a sex toy. So it just rolls things out. Oh, cool. That's cool. You can roll out results of a dice roll. Neat. Okay, well, I believe that is much as I'm going to show you today. I believe. So, no, let's go back to the main screen now. Looking for players listing. So, if people respond, you're going to see a notification top. And people who are notifying you that they want to join the game, they're going to talk to you within a separate forum within your campaign under the looking for players listing. And this is where you can talk to them and ask them questions. And then if you invite them, you can talk to them further under details. And there'll be forum posts in there. So let's say you don't like your campaign for some reason, or you want to extend upon it and you want to play with different people, but you want to keep everything. So let's give you a better example of something that's legit in a way. Okay, here's my Lost Mine of Phandelver campaign. So as you can see, I have players, I have all this information here, I have discussions, starting time, and let's say I just want to start another Lost Mines of Phandelver campaign, but not have to start from scratch all over again. This is where it's so easy. Copy and extend your campaign. And all you have to do is just choose the rule set. 5th edition. And it's going to ask you, do you want to keep the players and player settings, including macros? Players and player settings, including macros. I'm going to leave that checked because I want to keep my macros. Pages, it depends. Decks, chat log, no, journal, characters, and handouts. So we will remove that. Jukebox playlist I will keep. Campaign forums. Keep what you want to keep. And I'm ready to create campaign. It's not going to do anything against your other campaign. So as you see, I still have all of my macros. I just don't have characters in here. Character handouts. It's in there. It's fresh, ready to go. Let's go back. Let's go look at the main listing. And it'll label itself as a copy. So let's look at Lost Mine of Phandelver copy. And as you can see, there's players in there. So let's do this. Let's do a copy of a copy. Let's play with this again. Let's just say I don't want the players and player settings. I don't want the pages. I don't want the decks. I don't want the chat log, journal, and I don't want the jukebox. So I'm ready to create campaign. I didn't choose my character sheets. That's alright. Oh no! Oh. I want the pages still. Right. So you're keeping all your pages, but you don't keep the macros. Okay, I'm just testing something out. Hold up. This should be the copy of the copy of the copy. Yep. Copy. So there's no players in here. Since I got a copy of a copy, I can do this. Let's go to Lost Mine of Phandelver copy. The copy. No. Okay, let's go to the copy. So let's go keep player. I don't want to fuck with that right now. Let's do copy. Yeah, because I'm afraid if I delete these guys off of my copy, that they're going to be erased from my other game. And I don't want to do that. But anyways, now I gotta go to deleting all this. Let's go to. You want to delete your campaign? Yes, delete. So, delete. And yes, delete. 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 There you go. So, that's about it, guys. Okay. So, I hope you enjoyed this little Roll20 broadcasting in. Have a nice day, okay? Bye.